Welcome to the 2020 Master of Cybersecurity and Leadership Hooding Ceremony. I'm DC Grant from the School of Engineering and Technology, and it's my privilege to be Master of Ceremonies for today's event. Every year, the School of Engineering and Technology and the Milgard School of Business host a hooding ceremony to celebrate the accomplishments of our Master of Cybersecurity and Leadership graduates. Due to the global pandemic, we're celebrating student accomplishments virtually. Let's first welcome Dr. Raj Kadi, Dean of the School of Engineering and Technology, for an opening message.
Good morning and welcome to the 2020 Hooding Ceremony for the Master of Cybersecurity and Leadership program at UW Tacoma. I would like to congratulate all the graduates of the class of 2020 and recognize you all for completing your degrees in what we would call non-standard circumstances. In spite of these circumstances, you have adapted quickly to remote learning. This year, your accomplishments were truly impressive. 2 of you were selected as National Science Foundation Cyber Core SFS Scholars. 12 of you were inducted into UPE, an International Honor Society for the Computing and Information Disciplines. And 7 of you were inducted into BGS, an International Business Honor Society. Additionally, you have made significant contributions to the community by performing volunteer work that addresses the needs and challenges in cybersecurity of nonprofit organizations in the Puget Sound area. Some of these organizations include Tacoma Community Boat Builders, Safe Streets, Our Sister's House, and Tacoma Arts Live. You have achieved and forged a record that would be considered excellent even in normal times. Clearly, no global pandemic is going to hold you back. I have faith that you all, with your education, skills, and experiences at UW Tacoma, will continue to tackle difficult problems, overcome obstacles, achieve great things, and become leaders in cybersecurity fields.
Thank you, Dr. Kadi, for kicking off our celebration. Next, Dr. Yan Bai, Director of the Master of Cybersecurity and Leadership Degree Program, will introduce our keynote speaker.
Thanks, Raji and DC. It's an honor for me to introduce our keynote speaker, Michael Harmington. Michael Harmington is the founder and the CISO of CI Security. In a career spanning near 30 years, Michael has served as a cybersecurity policy advisor for Washington State, vice chair of the state, local, tribal, and the territory government coordinating council, chief information security officer for the city of Seattle, and managing consultant for Verisite Global Security Consulting. In a previous life, he developed algorithms for hyperspectrum remote sensing as an ocean scientist at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Please welcome Michael Harmington.
Greetings, graduates, and welcome to the calmest day you're going to have in this business. When I talk to students who are primarily going through a technical education, I tell them today you can get your degree in cybersecurity from a great university, which is good because today, if you get your pedigree the way I got mine, you are definitely going to prison. But going forward with the important things you've learned here starts with recognizing that your education and background, you are on the leadership side of IT security, and that means business. To you, it's going to be less about nation state, cyber, buffer, overflow, cross-site request, forgery nonsense. No. For you, this is going to be about protecting the fiduciary assets of your organization and working to avoid 3 key outcomes: records disclosure, theft and extortion, and disruption of critical services, those that run your business or those that you provide to customers and constituents. Every one of those outcomes has a cost you can estimate or calculate, and knowing your potential dollar amount of liability is what will help you to make decisions on reasonable investments in security. It's not about keeping the bad guys out of the network perfectly. It's about managing the risk of a foreseeable event. Malware happens. Extortion doesn't have to. So where to from here? Land a gig, get a better gig. Here's some thoughts on that. So everyone wants to be a penetration tester, a red teamer, right? A break-in artist. And it turns out the world needs very few of those. The requirement to attempt to compromise your own network is once annually. Not tons of work out there. But you have underpinnings in business, and that translates to risk management and compliance more than straight up technical security. Interestingly, a search of Indeed.com shows that the roles being hired most in cyber are auditors and analysts, not penetration testers. Why? Because regulatory requirements are going to continue to increase, and we need eyes on networks. At a recent Gartner Security and Risk Management Summit, there was an interesting panel. Should IT security be driven by regulatory or market forces? I submit to you that if market forces would work, Equifax would not exist. However, the move toward market forces in security cannot be ignored. Now, the Department of Defense is requiring all contractors, and this can include things like construction companies, to be certified by an accredited third party against a cyber maturity model. Certain bid opportunities come with requirements for higher levels of maturity. Companies have to compete for business based on how secure they are. That's a market force, and more of this is coming. Underwriter Labs' listing of IoT products is another example. Everyone has to show everyone else their security papers before they do business. That's a tailwind for auditing and compliance work, and you are uniquely qualified. There's no sign of that stopping. Privacy and consumer expectations are also driving security and regulation. A lot of new regulatory language is being driven by the fact that somehow we all just found out that free social media and other services are tracking us in the creepiest way imaginable. The Europeans decided to regulate this collection and use, and we got the GDPR. California climbed on it. We got the CCPA, the California Consumer Privacy Act, and now there's the California Privacy Rights Act, New York and the SHIELD Act. The fines for infractions are astronomical, and this legislation in California is trying to up those fines. So if you're educated in or have the inclination to be in the legal field, there's going to be a lot of work to do here. And I'll finish that thought with this. I've had every job in this business, all the way down to hand rolling and selling my own firewalls. The time I spent as a security consultant doing assessments against regulatory frameworks and standards of practice, that's where I really learned this business. You get impossible requests. There is no possibility of failure, and every customer has to be happy. You will be exposed to every problem, every choice and trade-off, and all of the organizational political issues you can stand. You will learn to be a great writer and, in fact, a great communicator. If you can take a position as a security consultant doing security assessments or regulatory audits, I encourage you to do so. And again, tailwinds are there for you. I'll also note, being a security consultant now is not like it was. Going to work on an airplane, living in hotels, eating in restaurants, driving rental cars, it's kind of out the window now. So how can you be a consultant or an auditor or an analyst and work remotely? It is possible. We're doing it. And in fact, practitioners in your chosen field has always been particularly adept at making things happen on computers that are far away. Let's face it, that's what we do. So two things here. One, as a remote security practitioner, your operational security is key and your own competitive differentiator. So two, think about your own technical controls, improve them and document them. Use wired connections if you can. Don't use a lame Wi-Fi password. Don't open your router or your DSL modem up to the internet for administration, and monitor your own network. These are the things that make you a valuable consultant in demand. So international policy on behavioral norms and rules of engagement are badly needed right now. Some of you might be considering roles in the State Department or other federal agencies, or Federal Trade Commission would be a great place to be. Right now, internationally, DHS and FBI are warning about multiple countries conducting espionage for COVID research data. There are hackers for hire and specifically a company known to have been engaged by multiple governments. There are active and aggressive disinformation campaigns. At least one country is using ransomware to target banks and posing as organized crime. Infrastructure attacks by countries have been responsible recently for the San Francisco airport, a water utility in Czechoslovakia, a water utility in Israel, and an Iranian port. And that's just the ones we know about. There are two countries with nuclear weapons openly hacking each other. What could possibly go wrong? Fraud operations are in overdrive, coming primarily from a single country. I hope some of you will be motivated to work in government on public policy. Think about trends like market forces and how they can be weaponized here. If we had a policy that said, if traffic from your country does not meet behavioral norms, we're going to cut off your legitimate business connectivity to the United States. We'll drop your packets, and your business leaders will go stand on the desk of your leader until the situation is rectified. That's the kind of public policy we need. Go do that. Go do that. Work as a congressional staffer or a policy analyst. The country needs you. And you all, in particular, are uniquely qualified to do those things. One more quick point about policy and its effectiveness as a control. Right now, everyone is working at home on networks with dubious security controls and unknown activity on those endpoints. A policy of all personal use will be on a personal device will do more for security than any product you can buy. When I was the CISO of the city of Seattle, we monitored as much as we could, and I could prove that 40% of the compromised assets on the network were the result of the use of personal email. Now think about that. One policy can reduce incidents by that much. Any organization with which you affiliate needs that policy. The country of Singapore had its health sector crushed by the WannaCry attack. They implemented a policy of no more internet use, and problem pretty much solved. Think about your ability to exercise leadership based on the background and the education you just got by making that one low-cost change. I wish you success because that particular entitlement is apparently pretty sacred. And now a word about innovation. I think we all understand the world is changing quickly, has changed quickly. We will have more automation. We will have fewer employees. Here's the thing, though. Robots can work through a pandemic, but they can be destroyed from the other side of the planet. Your chosen field is not in any danger of drying up, believe me. But as much as we need practitioners and leaders, we also need innovative new companies. Not necessarily more security products, because any CIO will tell you that the vendor phone calls never stop. Some of you may be considering starting companies. Our key problem here is the lack of qualified practitioners. If we were neck deep in cyber people and they were $30,000 a year, we'd hire our way out of this problem, no problem. But that's not today. And that's why venture capital companies smell blood in the water and a lot of crazy stuff gets funded. So be mindful of the innovations we need and those that we don't. Security automation is improving, but it still takes a lot of care and feeding. If we can have self-driving cars, why don't we have self-healing networks? Which of you is going to create the business that solves that problem? How about a business to perform analysis of data sets for compliance with the emerging multiplicity of all of these new state privacy laws? That's actually a really big deal and a killer business idea. I encourage you to embrace these changes. They represent opportunity, and the trends in front of us right now, go do those things. Change is creating opportunity, and as a graduate of this MCL program, you are very well positioned. We'll be an increasingly mobile workforce. Zero trust networking is going to become the way forward. I'll trust you if you can prove who you are and neither your location on Earth nor the device you're using has changed, and then you can have access. That's the new way. And that's the way security leaders are going to be developing policy, monitoring, and incident response. Get ready for pervasive networking that blankets the Earth from low Earth orbit satellites, hyperconnectivity, AI-driven criminal operations, more brazen nation-state actions. And hopefully, public policy that does more to create disincentives for all this bad behavior than it does now. Because if you get your pedigree like I got mine, you might go to prison, but you probably won't get caught. That's where we need you to get involved. And with that, I'll remind you one more time, This is the calmest day you are going to ever have as an information security leader. I hope this has been interesting and maybe given you some ideas. I wish you all great success, and as always, tap me on the shoulder when I can do something for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hamilton, for your inspirational presentation. Each year, the graduating MCL student cohort nominates one of their peers to speak in the hooding ceremony. This year, Lisa Campbell was chosen to represent the 2020 graduating class. Lisa is a cybersecurity analyst at Pacific Northwest National Laboratory in Richland, Washington, where she spent 8 years as an analyst in the Cybersecurity Operations Center before transitioning into a research position in the National Security Directorate in 2018. Her current work focuses on Internet of Things, supply chain risk management, and cybersecurity assessments of critical infrastructure. Lisa is a CyberCore Scholarship for Service recipient here at UW-Tacoma. She was inducted into the Beta Gamma Sigma International Business Honor Society and the Upsilon Pi Epsilon International Honor Society for the Computing and Information Disciplines, based on her scholastic achievements. She has a Bachelor of Arts in Spanish with a music minor from the University of Idaho and a Bachelor of Arts in Management Information Systems from Washington State University. Please join me in welcoming Lisa Campbell.
Administration, faculty, masters. To say it is an honor to virtually stand before you is an understatement. I am humbled that you still want to hear what I have to say. Don't worry, I won't talk too long. First, I'd like to thank the faculty. Even with a passion to teach, I'm sure it was difficult to lose Saturdays with your families. Thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge with us. And there is no way I could not mention the major adjustments that had to be done to keep everyone safe and shift to virtual classes. I can't even imagine how much work that took. Thank you for putting together the time and effort to ensure that we could still be able to be together and finish the program. I'm told that the job of the student speaker is to reflect on our time together, talk about what the future may hold, maybe offer a few words of encouragement. Well, how do I even begin to put our experience into words? Unfortunately, we don't have enough time for that, so let me borrow someone else's words instead, just to speed things along. James DeLette Freeman wrote, "A mountain needs a valley to be complete. The valley does not make the mountain less, but more. The valley is more a valley because it has a mountain towering over it." As much as we'd like to say it's been sunshine and rainbows, we all know that we have seen our fair share of valleys in the last 11 months. Of course, the most prominent valley is COVID-19 and the move to online learning. But there's also been job loss. There have been health problems for both ourselves and our loved ones. Many of us feel like we've completely neglected our kids, partners, families, pets, and friends. Sometimes just getting to class was a challenge. Trust me, I know. Let's face it, if I had a crystal ball last September, not only would I have started to stockpile TP and hand sanitizer and invested in Zoom, I probably would have found a therapist to put on speed dial. I know many of you feel the same. Taking care of our mental health has been a challenge for so many reasons. However, as Mr. DeLette Freeman says, a mountain needs a valley to be complete. We've also had our fair share of mountains. Our cohort has done some amazing things. Some of us found new jobs in the field. Some of us earned our CISP. Some of us had papers accepted to present at prestigious conferences. Some of us are writing college-level security courses for Green River's cybersecurity program. And then there is Good Hat. What an amazing way to share skills, knowledge, and passion for information security. For those who aren't familiar with Good Hat, I'm going to brag on them for a minute because, trust me, you want to hear this. A group from this cohort got together to help a nonprofit overhaul their IT infrastructure and enhance their security posture. After they finished, they decided to find another nonprofit and do it again. Today, at the end of this program, 4 nonprofits have benefited from the expertise that the members of this cohort so willingly share. To keep the ball rolling, they've even developed resources to help nonprofits grow in a structured way that improves their security and lowers their operating costs. One project helped with infrastructure upgrades and Azure migrations, which helped enable remote work, something we know is extremely important in the COVID era. Another project is with the domestic violence shelter, developing bilingual tools to help victims use the technology they have to find the resources to enable themselves to leave abusive situations. This also includes training to promote cyber stalking awareness and safety. How amazing is that? Good Hat is getting ready to launch as its own nonprofit, so be on the lookout for that because we want to support them as much as we can. Now back to our regularly scheduled hooding speech. To review, we were talking about mountains and valleys. Something that really stood out to me is how our cohort was able to unite and be a force for change. We've had our share of struggles and disappointments in the last 11 months, no doubt. But every time we've encountered an obstacle, I've watched us come together and tackle it head on. When a group can rally like that, anything is possible. Even though we were in a valley, we created our own mountain. The shift to online learning was difficult for many reasons, but I think the valley it created felt so deep is because this cohort, you, are my mountain. I know I'm not alone with that sentiment. We've talked about it many times. The energy present in the room when we are together is just amazing. All our different backgrounds and experiences have led to some incredible discussions and insights. Of all the things we take away from this program, the relationships we've built are the most important. Looking back to the first day of class, I can't help but remember some of the comments that were made about why we were there. Some said they wanted to improve at our craft. Some talked about building a network to leverage. Others were just trying to better themselves. Some never even dreamed of getting a master's degree. Yet there they were. You know what? Here you are. You did it. The valleys and mountains we faced during this program have created an unforgettable experience and some lifelong friendships. While I'm happy to be done with school, I will miss you all so very much. I will treasure our time together forever. Thank you for sharing that time, your wisdom, and your friendship. Here's to you, MCL Class of 2020, the Corona cohort. We did it.
Thank you very much, Lisa. I'm now pleased to introduce Dr. Brian Goda, Chair of the Information Technology Program and one of the MCL course instructors. Dr. Goda will discuss a unique aspect of the MCL ceremonies.
Congratulations, graduates of the MCL Class 2020. This is Brian Goda, one of your former professors. In 2012, I started this program with no faculty and no students. I was hired to start this program based on the recommendations of the Air National Guard unit saying that we need a professional degree. Part of the tradition of this program for every year is a challenge coin we've issued. And what it represents is military tradition. The challenge coin is given by commanders to soldiers who distinguish themselves during either an exercise or actual combat. It has a long history from dating back to World War I, where a flyer had a challenge coin issued to him. He got shot down behind enemy lines, and the Germans took him prisoner, everything except for his coin. Somehow he managed to escape, and he encountered French forces, and the French thought he was a saboteur until he pulled out his coin, and the French soldier noticed, hey, that's one of the unit insignias of the flying unit that's nearby. So they didn't shoot him, they gave him a bottle of wine instead. Now, well, for you, hopefully you have this coin in your possession. When you open it up and look at it, it represents 1 year of long and hard work where you have fought and battled 4 business classes and 4 IT classes, and now you are ready to graduate. This coin also symbolizes something, is that if you ever meet me in a bar you're allowed to have one drink from me free of charge if you have this coin in your possession and you say, hey, Goda, I need that drink, and I will buy you a drink. So good luck, class of 2020. You're going to have a bright future, and I'm very happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Goda. We'll now hear from Dr. Yan Bai, MCL Program Director.
Dear MCL grads, here comes the most important moment of today's event, your hooding. Graduate students receive hoods that signify their successfully completing a graduate degree program. Normally, you will receive your hood from a faculty member. In this virtual environment, you'll be hooded by one of your friends or relatives. Please hand the hood to your friend or relative and have them place the hood over your head. Excellent. Congratulations again. We are proud of your achievements. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Yan. Over the next few minutes, please keep an eye on your screen to view a montage of slides with individual messages from each of our graduates.
Caroline Charlotte Alper.
Chinua Ahmed.
صحبا بهیزاد.
Ivan Balbuena. Quinn Sarah May Bovie Naimi. Andrew William Bruce.
Isaac Burke.
Greg Butler.
Lisa Campbell.
Cybersecurity leader Manish Chand.
Derek Elliott.
Christopher Estrada.
Lynn Boyer Freeman.
Jasmine Gill.
Zachary M. Greenside. William Thomas Hall. Rick Haruska. Lam Ho.
Ian Johnson.
Brian Kendall.
Sue Lee.
Christian Locke.
Samantha Mingo. George McAllister.
Pranjal Nagar.
Melanie Preston.
Nee Nortley Quist Thurston. Saduk Rahman.
Nathan Rogers.
Sean Sadat.
Jayant Sanganapatla.
Another strong woman in cybersecurity, Vidhi Sharma.
Wesley Schreiner.
Jessica Singo.
Graduating out of the right corner, Clinton Sizemore.
David Spencer.
Yay!
Shatrughn Tamaska.
Carolina Vázquez Serra.
Nate Walters, Master of Cybersecurity and Leadership.
Quincy Wanzala.
Jeff Williams.
Chris Warden.
I'm now pleased to introduce the Interim Dean of the Milgard School of Business, Professor Althoff Merchant. Dr. Merchant will be providing closing remarks as we're nearing the end of our ceremonies.
On behalf of the faculty and staff of the Milgard School of Business, hearty congratulations to you on this important occasion. This marks the end of one journey and the start of another. You start your new journey armed with the latest knowledge and a strong education. What we hear from our corporate partners is that Milgard students live by the values of hard work, tenacity, and flexibility to change with circumstances and realities. You are our ambassadors. I am sure that you'll make us proud. You are now our alumni. Please stay in touch. Connect with your favorite professors, your classmates, and staff. You'll be hearing from us about our alumni events. I urge you to participate in them. Come back and relive your days of being a student. Remember, education and learning is an ongoing process. Our mission is to support you in this journey of lifelong education. In the coming decades, many of you will be in this part of the country, many elsewhere in the US and around the world. Some of you will come back as speakers, recruiters, donors, members of our advisory councils, guest teachers, and many more. Remember, wherever you are, Milgard is here for you, and keep that in your heart. Wishing you good luck to new beginnings, exciting adventures, and a fulfilling life. Onward and forward. Go Huskies.
In conclusion, it's our honor to celebrate today with our graduating class, as well as their family and friends. We look forward to maintaining a relationship with you as alumni and encourage you to keep in touch with your classmates, professors, and program staff. Best wishes for your continued success in your career and in all endeavors you undertake. Congratulations, graduates.